what I'm saying? You could tap in, you could tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest, and I suggest you tap in. So let's get right into it. Now, listen, first and foremost, time and energy are the highest forms of currency, my G. Time and energy are the highest forms of currency, my G, at all times. I mean, it is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. I know they got you out here chasing the bag, chasing that money, chasing that moolah, getting to that guap, getting to that paper. You understand me? Getting to a bag. But always keep in the front of your mental Rolodex that time and energy are the highest forms of currency at all time. All time. And when you keep that first and foremost in your mental Rolodex, it'll get you a long way. You understand what I'm saying? It'll help you save integrity. It'll help you, stay on track. Seek your purpose. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. Now, listen, man. I'm not going to stay long with this subject, with this topic, but you see the title. I'm sure you see the thumbnail. You already see and you already know the direction that I'm about to go in when it comes to Jay-Z, Rockefeller, Dame Dash, Steve Stout. It's been a lot going on in these YouTube streets. It's been a lot going on with these celebrities. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I went live earlier in the hot tub. Man, I mean, we at the big house. You already see that. And I ain't gonna lie, man. That spa, it really works you out. So I'm not gonna stay long on this topic, but I am gonna give my perspective on this situation. It's a lot of people in the DM saying Big G and BTV the Oracle. And don't you forget the TV, and you better always remember the Oracle. What's your perspective on everything that's going on with Dame Dash, Jay-Z, Steve Stout? Like, what's your thought process? What do you think? You understand what I'm saying? What do you think? And always remember, you ask a man what he thinks about the situation. Never ask a man how he feels about the situation. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to say it one more time for you. One more time. Always ask a man his thought process about any particular situation. Always ask a man what he thinks about any particular situation, but you never ask a man how he feels about any particular situation. Men, we don't move off of feelings and emotions. We move off of logic. We move off of thought process. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. You know what I mean? And it get deep, it get wicked, and it's always deeper than rap, my G. It's always deeper than rap. And in the DM, I got a lot of people asking me about Jay-Z and Dame Dash and Steve Stout. What's my thoughts on the situation? And yeah, I said, you know what? I'm crossing state lines at all times, but I'm going to tap in with the people. I'm going to tap in with the people, and I'm going to give a perspective on the whole situation. You know what I mean? Now, listen, man, before we get into it, big salute to all my day one investors. Big salute to everybody that been tapped in with the channel since day one, since numero uno. You know what I mean? I got a lot of investors. I got a lot of people that's locked in with the channel, growing this channel organically, taking it to the top. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. But I want to double back, and I want to say big salute to all my new investors. Everybody that's just getting a whiff, just getting tapped in with Grown Man Business TV. Big salute to y'all. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you lock in with the channel. Hit that like, hit the share, but you got to make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. Now, Dame Dash, Jay-Z, Steve Stout. First and foremost, I want to give a big salute to Dame Dash. Got to give a big salute to Dame Dash. You understand what I'm saying? Because when it comes down and it comes to the war between Jay-Z and Dame Dash, I can't lie. I always had Dame's back in this situation. I always had Dame Dash's back in this situation. Now, a lot of you youngsters, y'all wasn't around when Rockefeller was at his peak. Y'all wasn't around when, Def Jam, Rockefeller, Murder Inc., all of these, Rough Riders. It was major record labels, black record labels that was taking over the game, that had a chokehold on the game, that had a chokehold on the music industry. And Rockefeller was one of those major black record labels. And being as though I'm an 80s baby, being as though I'm one of the people that actually got to see it with my own eyes, my perspective it's a lot different from a lot of these content creators that I'm watching speak about the situation. You understand what I'm saying? I watched three black men come into this game, you know, give a sense of hip hop that we hadn't felt yet, that we hadn't heard yet, that we hadn't had the chance to resonate with yet. Jay-Z came into the game. He was talking that dope boy talk. He was talking that next level lyricism. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man. Jay-Z really took the game to another level. He really took the game to another level, and you got to give him his props. I know a lot of people feel like, you know, Biggie was going to do it first, and he was. And, you know, Jay wasn't as big as he was when Tupac was around, and he wasn't. But you got to understand something. You know, nobody's built like you. You designed yourself. Yeah. I see my one-of-a-kind self getting stoned every day like Jesus did, like Jay-Z really opened up that lyrical content game. He really opened up a lane for the real that nobody was in. Nobody was in it. And again, I gotta say it, Biggie did it first. You know, Biggie had the blueprint that Jay-Z used to get to the next level. And if Biggie wouldn't have lost his life prematurely, he would have did it first. Gotta give it to Biggie, but I gotta say right behind that, yes, Biggie lost his life. Biggie was assassinated prematurely. He never had a chance to actually bring those dreams and those thoughts and those aspirations into reality. But guess who did? Jay-Z. Jay-Z actually did. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not gonna stay long on this, but Jay-Z said, my mind is infested with sick thoughts that circle like a Lexus. If driven wrong, it's sure to hurt you. Do level like duplexes. Community. My crew and me commit atrocities like we had immunity. You guessed it. Manifested intangible hood. Platinum Rolex it. We don't lease, we buy the whole car as you should. My federation, detonation, explode on detonation. Mind control the mind of a said patient. When it boils and steams and comes to it, we all fiends, we gotta do it. Even righteous minds go through this. True this. The streets school us to spend our money foolish. Bond with jewelers and watchful intruders. I stepped it up another level, meditated like a Buddhist. Recruited lieutenants with ludicrous dreams of getting cream. Let's do this. Listen, at this time, we didn't even know what ludicrous meant. When Jay-Z was using this type of vocabulary, when Jay-Z was using this type of wordplay and this lyricism, we didn't know what half of the words meant back in those days. That's how advanced Jay-Z was. But I say all that to say this. It's a reason why Jay-Z was able to speak that type of wordplay to the gangsters. He was able to give that type of game up to the thugs because he had an army behind him. He had an army like Dame Dash and Biggs Burke right behind him. See, one thing for sure, two things for certain. Jay-Z was never the leader of anything. When it come to the dope game, when it come to the drugs, when it come to the streets that he was glorifying, you got somebody named D. Haven that paved the way for Jay-Z. And I want y'all to follow me on this because, again, I'm going to land this plane in due time. But I'm going to paint this picture like Picasso, my G. I'm going to give you a perspective that nobody is giving you on YouTube, on this app. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. Now, again, Jay-Z was never the leader of nothing. He was never the leader of anything. And when Jay-Z was giving this game up on the album, the classic album, Reasonable Doubt, when Jay-Z was speaking this poetry to the gangsters, to the thugs, to the street dudes, he had an army behind him, a two-man army. And that two-man army was Dame, Dash, and Biggs Burke. And the sixth man, the secret component, the secret player, was D. Haven. All the gangster street drug, thug, cocaine dealing, coke selling, all that came from D. Haven paving the way. And then when Jay-Z says, you know what? I want to get out of the game. I want to get out of the dope game, and I want to become a rapper. I want to get into the music industry. Now he has somebody named Dame Dash blazing the path open so that Jay-Z could do what he needed to do. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. When Jay-Z wanted to make money to support his mom and help his family, he had somebody named D Haven that gave him a hand, that blazed the path for him to go out to New Jersey and make all of that money. When he wanted to get in the rap game and he wanted to, get out of the dope game and he wanted to get in the rap industry, he had somebody named Dame Dash that blazed the path and opened the door for him to make that transition. And you got to ask yourself, these are two very important players in your life. How is it that you're not friends with either one of them? I'm going to break that down for you. I'm going to break that down. Now, again, D Haven, he did his thing. Jay-Z wanted to get into the rap game. He got with Dame Dash, and here we go. I'm going to paint the picture. Now, Jay-Z was being shopped all over New York to every record label, and nobody wanted to sign Jay-Z. It was from multiple different angles and multiple different reasons why different record labels did not want to touch Jay-Z. Some people said he rapped too fast. Some people said, you know what, he's too old. He don't appeal to the youngsters. Some of them said, who wants to talk about drugs? We like MC Hammer. We like these other type of rappers. Why would we want to rap? Why would we want some big lip, light-skinned dude coming in here, rapping, tapping, and spitting and skitting? We good on that. And because Jay-Z had a Dame Dash, he was able they was able to make a vision. They was able to see their real purpose, and that was to go independent. That was to take it to the next level and start their own record label. You understand what I'm saying? Jay-Z was unable to do any of these things on his own, just like Biggie Smalls, and that's a whole nother video, because I rock with Biggie Smalls. But when we keep it 100% real, when you come to Grown Man Business TV and you come to get this real spill, Biggie Smalls was unable to do any of those things without Puff Daddy. He has to give all praise to Puff Daddy. And Jay-Z should have been given all praise to somebody like a Dame Dash. And I wanted to paint that picture because you have to have some context on why this thing went left, on why it's still a war, on why they're still having words back and forth, Jay-Z and Dame Dash. Now listen again, Jay-Z, he was able to portray this leader. He was able to put on a costume and act like he was this, stand-up dude. When the whole time, all Jay-Z was hoping for was the higher-ups and the elites to make an offer. That's all Jay-Z wanted, was for the white man to make an offer. After him, Dame Dash and Biggs Burke built up this Rockefeller movement that I was able to see with my own eyes. We all admired the Rockefeller label. We all admired the movement. We all respected it, homie, from the streets to the boardroom. We all respected what they did. The problem is when you got a snake in the bunch. The problem is when you got one of the dudes wearing a costume, acting like he's down for the movement, acting like he's down for the resistance, for the revolution. And all the higher ups gotta do is send one of those people in there. That's all that they was doing. Now let's fast forward. Let's not even fast forward. Let's stay right on track. So these guys built up this empire. And out of nowhere, we see this empire crumble. We see this empire fall. And from the outside looking in, we saying to ourselves back in the day, how does an empire with 3 strong black men crumble the way it crumbled? Because when you dealing with the higher-ups and the elites, when you dealing with them people, there can only be one token nigga. It can only be one. It can only be one. And I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, for a long time, you had to pick a side. You had to pick and choose. And everybody was rocking with Jay because we wasn't able to see the inner workings of the higher ups and the elites. But I, grown man business TV, that third eye always been open. And I always thought that it was something wrong. I always thought that it was something fishy. I always thought that it was dirty game on what happened to Dame Dash. So when all my homies was rocking with Jay, I started looking at Jay-Z sideways, and you know what? I was right. You know what? Tupac said a lot of things about Jay-Z, and you know what? Tupac was right. It was some of us that was able to see through the smoke and mirrors even back in the day. Even back in the day, my G. Aloe, what it do, homie? Yo, that's my dog, Aloe, aka Dashiki. You know what I mean? I want to take a few seconds before we get deeper into this topic, before we get deeper into this situation, to shout out the homie Aloe. You know, when I talk about East New York, when I talk about Brooklyn, when I talk about my history out there in New York City, that is somebody that can verify and they can certify and they can stamp every story. Aloe, aka Dashiki, that's YouTube, that's Instagram. You feel what I'm saying? Real, yeah, is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Now let's get back into this thing with Jay-Z. Tupac called it out. I called it out a long time ago because there's no way, and even back in the day, it was no way that I just didn't understand how the dynasty fell apart. Now, let's fast forward to recently. You know, Steve Stout had an interview he did with Shannon Sharp, where he spoke about a lot of things. He spoke about Nas. He spoke about his rise to fame and stardom and success in the music business. But there was one particular topic and one particular subject that he homed in on that, you know, caused shockwaves when it comes to social media. It caused shockwaves. And that's when Steve Stout spoke about Dame Dash. Now, Stout, you know, I rock with him. I ain't gonna lie. I've always respected his rise to power. He's a pillar in the culture. He's a pillar in hip hop. But it's a couple of things he said about Dame Dash that, you know, caused red flags, and you know, it was red flags all over the field, and it got my wheels to turning. And Steve Stout said that, you know, Dame Dash was hard to work with. He said that Dame Dash, you know, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He said a few other things, but I want to stay right there. That is the, you know, one of the main reasons why I rock with Dame. That's one of the main reasons why it's been years since I've ever looked at Jay-Z the same, homie. It's been a long time, and I was one of the biggest Jay-Z fans. You see how I just recited that line from Reasonable Doubt, that verse. You see how easily I was able to recite that because I was a, you know, A1 Jay-Z fan. And as far as his work and his lyrics go, I still rock with Hov. But I have to say, you know, when the industry says that you are hard to work with, that simply means that you are not willing to let the higher ups and the elites, you are not willing to let the ones that run the music industry take advantage of you. That's all that means. Dame Dash was hard to work with, but because he wasn't willing to do what Jay-Z did. He wasn't willing to sneak around, get a check, and cut his homies out. He wasn't willing to let the higher ups and the elites write those bad contracts and take advantage of the artists. He wasn't willing to bend, break, and fold, my G. And see, when they, you know, back in the day, before social media, before we had these smartphones, before we had these platforms, before we had these apps and these cameras, it was easy for the higher ups and the elites to point you out, to blackball you, to say that you're hard to work with. Yeah. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? When the higher ups and the elites see black men especially three strong black men, three strong heterosexual black men. Let me add that to the pot right there. Heterosexual black men. Put their money together, put their minds and their thoughts together and build an empire. Or they're going to send somebody to infiltrate. And they got multiple different ways on how they can infiltrate. A lot of the times they use white women, right? They use money, or they use jail, prison, RICO, indictments, all of that. Yeah, it is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. And in this particular situation, Dame Dash wasn't willing to sell out Rockefeller for a check. He wanted to take advantage of the whole game, every aspect of it. But you know what? Jay-Z wanted to be looked at as a businessman. He didn't want to be looked at as a rebel. He wanted to be looked at as a black businessman. And see, when you are a businessman and you are black in this industry, you're going to bend, break, and you're going to fold, homie. You're going to become a puppet. You're going to become a puppet. Those little millions that you make, those are pennies compared to the people who run the industry. So yeah, you got some millions. We make you a millionaire. We make you a businessman. But now you're going to lead the black community to drinking Cristal. You're going to lead the black community to drinking Ace of Spade. You're going to lead the black community in whatever which way we want the black community to be led in, homie. Dame Dash wasn't willing to do that. Dame wasn't willing to bend, break, or fold, homie. Dame was, listen, if we going to do bending, we going to be partner 50-50 in this. In the beginning, Dame Dash was willing to take a deal. He saw that the higher-ups and the elites wasn't even give him a record deal. They wouldn't even give Jay-Z, one of the greatest of all times, they wouldn't even give him a chance, homie. And that fueled the fire. That fueled the fire again. White women, jail, prison, or check. Either which way they checkmate you. When they put the white women in your, yeah, you see what that, yeah, you know what that do. When they put that white woman in your studio, when they put that white woman in your hotel, and then that sexual assault allegation come out, whew, you see what they did to Kobe, huh? Or they put that, or they double back and they say, you know what, you used to sell dope, right? When we listen to this album, we talking about dope. Is that how you funded this record label? Then the RICO come, the indictments come. Or you creep around. Now, again, we're going to get deep into this, but you offer a check. We're going to buy you out. We're going to buy you out, and not only are we going to buy you out, but we're going to buy your integrity. We're going to buy your face card. We're going to buy everything, homie. We're going to own you. We're going to start hooking the strings up to you, and we're going to start, yeah, you're the puppet. We're the Geppetto. Huh? So it was a few other things, you know. Steve Stout, he talks a lot. You know, when you get a certain amount of money, you get to a certain status, you start believing the hype. You start feeling like you're the man. You start talking and acting and your mannerisms and you moving your hands around and yeah, we getting money. But when the real is listening, we see past all the smoke and mirrors, homie. We see past all the money. We see past all the BS. And we open our ears and listen. He was telling on himself. He said, listen, man, you know, Dame Dash will be out of the country for months at a time. You know, and people would go behind Dame Dash's back, or they would go around Dame Dash. Yeah. That's what happened. When Dame Dash was over there in London, and when he was over there in Paris, when he was making moves here and he was making moves there, the higher ups and the elites they was talking to Jay, and they was saying, listen, Hova, you wanna bust this check down 3 ways? You the rapper. You the star, Jay-Z. Why would you wanna bust this check down? And we gonna give you this check. We gonna give you this money. We're going to make you the businessman that you want to be. Everybody in the world is going to respect you as a businessman. But guess what? Your rebel friends can't come. The game is the game, homie. They do. It's the same pattern for every which way, every different angle that they approach it. It's always the same pattern. Listen, Hova, we're gonna give you this money, but you can't bring your friends with you. They're not gonna. He's not gonna bend. We already know Dame is not gonna bend, break, or fold. He's hard to work with. But Jay, you're easy to work with. You want the money. We got the money, baby. What you want to do for it? It's the same thing they do with these all-white parties. It's the same thing they do with these mansion parties. It's the same thing Puff Daddy been doing. They all learn from the higher ups and the elites. Listen, man, I'll make you a star. Listen, you're invited to the mansion party, but don't bring your friend. Don't bring Grown Man Business TV, because Grown Man Business TV is not going to bend, break, or fold. Grown Man Business TV is actually going to tell the world what we're doing in here. He's not even going to accept $1 million check. You can come. Don't bring your friend. And I ain't going to lie, man. I think we all believe that Rockefeller was above that. We all believe that Rockefeller was above the check, that Rockefeller was above the higher ups and the elites. We all believe that nobody would take the check. And I got a lot of people in my DMs, they say, Jay-Z, he had outgrown Dame Dash, and Jay-Z was trying to get more, and Jay-Z this and Jay-Z that. See, it's always a bunch of excuses for you house niggas, for you dudes that's gonna bend, break, and fold. You come up with a million excuses on why it's acceptable. But I'm gonna tell you what Jay-Z was supposed to do. Jay-Z, when he got approached by the higher ups and the elites, he's supposed to convince them that he ain't going nowhere without Dame Dash. Is that so hard? Is that so hard to understand? Is that so hard to comprehend? Listen, man, I ain't going nowhere without Dame. I know y'all don't like him. I know how y'all feel about him, but I ain't doing nothing without Dame. Matter of fact, listen, I'll talk to Dame. But if you want to deal with me, you got to deal with Dame. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. That's what Jay-Z was supposed to do. And then after Jay-Z did that, he was supposed to sit down with Dame and say, listen, homie, they coming at my neck. They got $100 million check. They begging me to take this check, but they want you out the picture. And I told them I ain't doing nothing without you. But this is what I need from you, Dame Dash. I need you and me to both be CEOs of Rockefeller. I want to be an artist/boss. I want to be an artist/CEO, my G. That's what I want. And if we can make that happen, if we can renegotiate the situation, you ain't got nothing to worry about. That's what Hova was supposed to do. He was never supposed to throw Dame Dash under the bus, man. Disgusting work. Dame was treating Jay-Z like an artist. That's why there was a song where, in the song Lost One, Jay-Z said, hey, make another Hove. Dudes wasn't playing a day role, so we parted ways like Ben and J-Lo. Gotta get to him at the end of the day, though. Nothing else to say, though. Guess we forgot what we came for. See, Dame was the CEO of Rockefeller. Jay-Z was an artist. He was only an artist. And he wanted to be a boss. He wanted more. He wanted ownership. He wanted the title, homie. He wanted the title of a boss. He wanted to be the CEO. And he didn't give that to Dame the right way. He didn't break that down the right way. And like I told you, what they do in this particular situation, they put the check in there. Leo Cohen's, he came in, he said, dang, man, Jay, you wanna split this? Man, listen, you're the man. They can't make nothing move without you. You're Jay-Z. Without you, we don't do no business with Dame or Biggs. You're way bigger. See, and he was right. He was right. He was right. But you never let them people separate a dynasty like that. Ever. Ever. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be, homie. Now, a lot of things Dame brings to the table that the corporate America, the big bosses, the big billionaire, millionaire, trillionaire dudes don't want black men to bring to the business. They don't want you to stand on 10 toes. They don't want you to stand up erect. They don't want you to talk back. They don't want you to have an opinion. They don't want you to be grown men standing on grown man business. They want you to be celebrity whores. They want you to be puppets. They want you to guide and mislead the youth, the urban community. They don't want you to rebuild and, yeah, homie, rejuvenate. Ask yourself, man, it's a deep rabbit hole. It's a deep rabbit hole. Dame wants to protect the artist. Dame wants the artist to know about publishing. Dame wants the artist to become bosses. The higher ups and the elites want you to remain an artist. And they want one or maybe two to become bosses. Because those bosses become puppets. And those puppets guide and lead these other artists. They guide and lead the black community. They guide and they lead the urban community. And what has Jay-Z and Puff Daddy and all of these dudes guided and led the urban community to? Alcohol. Douce. DeLeon. Ace of Spade. Ciroc. That's all we know from these dudes. That's all we know. Jay-Z could buy the whole Marcy projects and rebuild it. Nah, you ain't allowed to do that, homie. Jay-Z has brought Russians into Brooklyn. Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets. But what is that doing for black people in Brooklyn? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, again, on a higher level, on a different perspective, we got enough millionaires, we got enough billionaires to really take this thing to the next level. But you can't have a billionaire like Dame Dash because he's going to go against the grain. He's going to really rebuild the community. He's really going to put his people in power, in real power. So you got to get rid of Dame Dash, and I never respected Jay-Z for getting rid of Dame Dash. You worth $1, $2, $3 billion. Why Dame ain't worth 200 million right now? Hello, what it do? Exactly. Oh, it's in the fine print, Aloe. Yeah, it's in the fine print. It's in there. Oh, yeah, it's nice and neat. You could never build up your community. You could never crowd fund your money. You wouldn't believe, but these things are in the contract, homie. Why do you think, Jay-Z, Rick Ross, Meek Mills, DJ Khaled, Lil Wayne, and Dr. Dre haven't put $100 million a piece in a pot and went and bought up 2 states? Yeah. Why you think Tupac had to go? Biggie Smalls was a casualty of war. Tupac was the target. Biggie Smalls was a casualty of war. Biggie Smalls was only to make it look like it was East and the West Coast beef, and now it's over. But Tupac was the target. Because dudes like Tupac, dudes like Dame Dash could never be put in power. Now, let's really, let me home this thing in. I digress. But it's passion in this. I'm an 80s baby, homie. I really came up in the golden era of hip hop. I saw it with my own eyes. I listened to this music on CDs with my homies in real time, in real life, before these smartphones, homie, before the internet, before metaverse and all of this extra shit. We was in the mist. We was off the porch. We was hands on, my generation. Hands on. Listen, let me tell you something. If I had these phones back when I was 20, 22, 25, I'd be a millionaire, multi-millionaire. Oh yeah, I probably have 100 M's right now. Yeah, it is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be, baby. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. But let's really tap in now. After all of that is said, right? For the last, let's say, 20 years, Jay-Z and Dame been going to war with each other. They've been it's been a cold war. Words being said here and there, things being done here and there. It's been a war. And then you always, at least myself, I always ask myself, like, why won't Jay just sit down with Dame Dash, man? There's no way that you don't sit down with a Dame Dash and figure this thing out. But what you got to understand is Dame Dash owns the majority stake of Rockefeller. Dame Dash being the CEO at the time when Jay-Z dropped his most classic album, his first album. Jay-Z being the artist and Dame Dash being the CEO, Dame Dash owned more. He owned more of Reasonable Doubt than Jay-Z owned of Reasonable Doubt. Now, mind you, Jay-Z owns the masters and the publishing of all his albums except Reasonable Doubt. And Jay-Z's been doing all kind of, lawyer games. He has Perez, the ex-rat, the ex-snitch, the young lady that told on all the Mexican and Colombian cartels working right next to him. Head of Rock Nation, a rat. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man. It's absolutely disgusting work, my G. It's something that I never thought I would see today. Jay-Z working side to side with a rat. But hey, he's the businessman. It's for business. So she been showing Jay, and they all been working, they've been doing their due diligence. They've been putting in a lot of man hours, a lot of time, a lot of hard work, trying to figure out how to snake the rest of the masters, the rest of the publishing of what Dame Dash owns of Reasonable Doubt, because that would put the puzzle together. That would put the puzzle together, my G. Jay-Z, greatest rapper alive, biggest businessman in hip hop, and he owns all of his masters and all of his publishing. I mean, it would be a fairy tale ending. But you got a Dame Dash. You got a rebel. And he was backed into a corner to where he's able now to sell, Rockefeller Records. He's able now to sell his stake in Reasonable Doubt. And, I think it was genius. And now we in present time. I just wanted to give y'all a synopsis. I wanted to give y'all some context on where this thing came from, the history. But in present time, allegedly, Dame sold his share of Rockefeller and he sold his share of Reasonable Doubt to Cam and MASE. Fire. I think that's fire, my G, and it's just like a Harlem nigga to do. I'm not gonna get too far off track, right? But in my heyday, when I was moving through New York City, when I was, just a country boy, a young country boy with a hustler's mentality, making his way to the Big Apple, wanting a slice of the American pie, and I was moving around, New York City, and I was I was doing the things that I was doing, and I was carving out my lane for the real. Cause I've carved out a lane for the real, and I'm the only one in it. You know, I gave y'all the stories, I gave y'all the background, but after all of these things happen, I end up in a class in Manhattan, New York. At this time, again, salute to my homie Allo, man. I was staying with my homie Allo, Fairfield Projects, Brooklyn, New York, East New York. But I would have to get up, walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, all the way to New Lots, right? I would get on a 3 train and go all the way uptown to take this class. And in this class, it was a bunch of Brooklyn dudes and it was a bunch of, Harlem dudes in there. And I just remember the difference in the two. I always remembered how fly and how dressed up the Harlem dudes would be, and just how grimy and just how street the Brooklyn dudes would be. And I related to them both. I related to them both, the Harlem dudes with the swag and all that. I related to that. But then, the streets and the guns and the violence, I related to that too. And it just reminds me of Dame and Jay. It's like Jay is a Brooklyn dude. You understand? He has a lot of Brooklyn qualities about himself, and he's at war with a Harlem nigga. Harlem is gonna stick together, man. That's one thing you will learn if you ever was feet on ground in New York City, if you ever did business, if you ever rubbed shoulders with real New Yorkers. Harlem niggas, they gonna stick together, homie. Brooklyn niggas, they might stick together for a little while. Brooklyn gonna stick together when you go against Brooklyn, but after they stick together, they liable to rob each other right there. You know what I'm saying? The Brooklyn niggas liable to, they'll go to war with you, and then after they go to war with you, when the dust clears, then they might, a couple of them niggas gonna end up going to war with each other. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. So Dame selling his stake in Rockefeller and his stake in Reasonable Doubt to Cam and Mace, fellow Harlem dudes. I just thought that was genius, and I thought that was real Harlemish. And I just thought that Dame is still 10 toes down. He's still a rebel. He's still sharp in the mind. Like Dame never been no sucker, and Dame never. The higher ups and the elites knew they would never get one over on Dame Dash. They knew that every time they tried to get Dame Dash to bend, break, and fold, they was going to pay for it. So they just got him out the picture. They helped Jay-Z snake him out of Rockefeller Records. They helped Jay-Z get him out the situation. They helped Jay-Z smoke him out of his situation, homie. Smoke him out of an empire. And then 30 years later, 30, you got to think about how deep this is. Jay-Z said, those ain't Rolex diamonds. The fuck you done to that? These rapping ass niggas, funny to me, selling records like you, still you want to be me. He was talking about Mace. You didn't know that the Rolex diamonds, what the fuck you done to that? That line was about Mace? Mace popped up on Jay and Dame, and he had a bust down Rollie, and Jay-Z being into the money, knew that those wasn't Rolex diamonds, and he was talking to Mace. Jay been getting at Mace for a long time, homie. Yeah, it's a lot of other lines too. Oh, I could go down a list of lyrics that Jay-Z was shooting at Mace, but that was always my favorite one. Those ain't Rolex diamonds. What the fuck you done to that? And Jay-Z would have never thought that 30 years from then, Dame would own his most prized possession. I mean, Mace would own the majority portion of his most prized possession. One time for Cam for taking over the rock. Yeah. It's my year. So, listen, man, Jay-Z didn't like the fact that Dame Dash made CAMRON president of Rockefeller Records. See, a lot of you youngsters, y'all don't understand this. Y'all wasn't around. But that's why you come to Grown Man Business TV, baby. Yeah, we 17,000 subscribers and we approaching 18,000. But 2 time for Cam for taking over the Rock. Yeah, y'all wasn't around for that. Yeah, you could check and see what it looked like. You wasn't around for that. Jay-Z didn't like the fact that Dame Dash brought CAMRON in and made him president of Rockefeller Records without telling him. But what a lot of us didn't understand and what a lot of us didn't know, that on the paperwork, Jay-Z was only an artist. Dame Dash was the CEO. He didn't have to check in with Jay-Z or Biggs. He didn't have to. And Jay-Z never thought in his wildest dreams that 30 years later, that same young dude from Harlem, CAMRON, would be the owner, the majority shareholder in his most prized possession. Reasonable doubt. See how things come around full circle, baby? See how this thing worked? Jay-Z got all the money in the world. Multi-billionaire. He been up under the higher-ups and the elites for a long time. They spared Jay-Z. I'm gonna get a little bit deeper into this real quick. I wanna give this game right here. Ain't nobody on YouTube talking like this. Ain't nobody coming from this perspective. But Jay-Z seems to have everything you could ever want. Multi-billionaire. His wife is Beyonce. He got a beautiful family. $100 million homes all over the globe. I mean, it's Jay-Z, it's Sean Carter. I mean, it is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. But what is it for you to gain the world and sell your soul, homie? What is it when you gain the world and you sell your soul? So this guy, multi-billionaire with all of this money, all of this fame and fortune, can't seem to get his hands on the one album that mean the most. The one album that counts. He can't get his hands on it because the universe. How's it looking, Joe? Good. It's done? Yeah, it's done. For sure. Okay. For sure. Yeah. That's how the game works. That's how it works, homie. Dudes that Jay-Z had been dissing for years. Dudes that Jay-Z was looking down on. He used to look down on Mase. He used to, yeah, what's that one line? Boy, he was talking about Mase. He said, it's always the weakest one of the crew. Yo, he been talking about Mase for years, man. It's always the weak. What'd he say, He said you always be number 2 even in your own videos. You know, when Mase and Diddy had those jerseys on with number 1 and number 2, and Mase had number 2, he said you'll always be number 2 even in your own videos. These are shots at Mase that you got to be a lyrical wordsmith to be able to decode. If you ain't lyrical, if you ain't in the game, if you don't know how to rap, if you ain't in tune with this culture, you want that shit's gonna go over your head and under your bridge. And Jay-Z is that good. Jay-Z was like Biggie. He learned from Biggie how to be, how to be monogamous, how to hide the words inside of, double entendres, and how to hide the disses, in metaphors and not literally say your name. He didn't want to give you fame. He didn't want to give you clout, but he wanted to shoot his shots at you. Jay was a genius at that. He learned that. He got that from Big. So now we're at present day. And I had to say all that because I always believed and felt like it was disgusting work, my G. It's disgusting work what they did to Dame Dash. Or at least what they tried to do to Dame Dash. It's always the strong ones that they want to take out. It's always the slaves that they feel like they can't control, that they got a buck break. The slaves that they can't control, that's the ones that they lynch. That's the ones that they castrate. That's the ones that they do what they got to do to show everybody else, you better not do what he did. You better not do what he did, or we'll castrate you in front of everybody. Yeah. Be like Jay-Z. Take the cheese. Bite the bait, and we'll let you live, homie. And what do you mean by let you live, grown man business TV? What do you mean by that? See, a lot of people don't understand how Jay-Z could go from reasonable doubt to later on in life working with a snitch, working with a rat. But I broke down that as well. I decoded that as well, homie. In due time, the higher-ups and the elites, they came to Jay-Z because there was a lot of talk on CNN. It was a lot of talk on Fox News about how Jay-Z, Beyonce's husband, used to sell drugs. You don't remember a few years ago where, it was a lot of white people on these news outlets talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce's husband and how he used to sell drugs, how he used to be a drug dealer, how he used to be yeah. You don't remember when those people was talking about Jay-Z all over the news? They was painting the narrative. They was telling people that never knew that Jay-Z was a drug dealer, that he was a drug dealer. And when they was doing that, you have to be aware of what's going on. You got to be able to see through the smoke and mirrors. You got to be able to pull the curtain back and see what's going on backstage. They was painting the picture. They was setting the stage for the decline of Jay-Z. When they started telling people that Jay-Z was an ex-dope dealer, when they started telling everybody that Jay-Z was a crack seller, that was them painting the narrative. That was them setting the stage. Because after they sway the public to believe what they want them to believe, that's when they attack, homie. And they were saying to Jay, this is at the time is pivotal for Jay-Z. And they were saying, listen, man, we done got CNN and Fox News, and everybody's talking about how you used to sell drugs. The only thing that's coming next is the RICO. The only thing that's coming next is the indictments, homie. Oh, you thought that it was you thought that the time had passed. You thought that we can't touch you because you had sold drugs so many years ago, not knowing we'll double back on you. It don't matter how far, it don't matter, homie. You built $1 billion empire off of drug money. You think we won't come and get that? Or we'll come and get that, Jay. Listen, hold on. You already did good, Jay. You got Dame Dash out the picture. But now we need you to go a little deeper. We need you to go a little deeper. This is what we need you to do. You about to do a video called Picasso, right? Okay, cool. Don't you worry. We got a young lady that we're going to put in this video, and we want you to dance around to her. Oh, she's a spirit cooker. I can't think of her name right now. But if you know the white lady's name that's in that Picasso video, feel free to put it in the chat, homie. Oh, we all know that white lady that Jay-Z was head-to-head with. And he did that. Everybody enjoying a video that we don't even know that this is a spirit cooker. This is a Satan worshiper. This lady, yeah, he's guiding and misleading the youth. He's guiding and misleading the urban community, homie. But not only that, Jay, we need you to do a little more. Yeah, don't worry. The Picasso video is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. You did that. But we need you to take it a step further. What's the young lady's name that works for ROCAFELLA that's a known rat, that's a known snitch, that told on the Mexican mafia, that told on the Colombian cartel? What is that young lady? See, again, we here at Grown Man Business TV. The subscribers are tapped in. The channel is growing organically. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. But we need you to get right up. Yeah, you know, Juan, OG Juan, his old lady is a rat. Oof. His old lady told on the Mexican cartel. His old lady told on the Colombian cartel. We're going to, listen, Jay. We'll let you live. We won't indict you. We won't put the RICO on you. We won't crash you out like we crashing out Puff Daddy because he's going down. We'll let you live. You and your family, y'all can live. Y'all can listen, happily ever after. But the president of Rock Nation, the president of your company, is going to be a rat. Yeah, Perez. Whew. Yeah, Desiree. That's her name. We want her at the top of your empire. One of us at the top of your empire. And if you do that, the higher-ups done had strings on Jay-Z for over 30 years now. let me give you some more context. You ever notice that Jay-Z never comes out into the public? Jay-Z never talks to the people. Jay-Z never has anything to say unless the higher-ups and the elites tap in and say, you're going to speak about this. Let me give you an example. The NFL situation, Colin Kaepernick. Hey, hey, Jay-Z, baby. Hey, I'm sorry to knock on your door so late, but we need to talk. Oh, I know it's 4 a.m, but yeah, don't you worry about it. We need to talk. We need to have a conversation. The NFL is losing billions and billions of dollars because black people are not buying Nike wear right now. Black people are feeling the way about Colin Kaepernick, and we need you to talk about that. Yeah, we need you to talk about that. We need you to tell black people that we are not kneeling. We need you to tell black people that we are moving forward. You with that? Okay, cool, boom. See, Jay-Z only speaks to the people when the higher-ups and the elites demand that he speaks to the people, homie. What you think Dame Dash would have did in that situation? Yo, Dame Dash would have saw that the NFL was losing billions of dollars and he would have poured gasoline on a fire. He would have poured gasoline on the fire. He would have hit the gas pedal. He would have mashed the gas on the NFL. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. Big salute to everybody that's tapped in. Big salute to everybody that's locked into the channel. You understand what I'm saying? If you have not, I assure you that you need to hit that subscribe button. You need to tap that subscribe button. So anytime that Grown Man Business TV is live, you can be in tune. You can get the notification. The game I'm giving up, the truth I'm spilling, you ain't gonna find it nowhere else on this app, homie. Nowhere. Everything in moderation. Jay-Z been a puppet, man. He been a puppet. Dame Dash, king. King. They are going to decapitate the king. They are going to chop the head off the king. That's it. Dame Dash just is so witty. He's such a genius. They could never figure out a way to truly cut his head off. They put him in submission. They played with his money. He's not as big as he used to be. He doesn't have as much influence or power as he used to be, but he's smart enough not to drink the water. Woo. He's smart enough not to let them poison his food. Give him Parkinson's disease. Do him like they did Michael Jackson and Prince. He's smart enough. So Dame Dash in his older age, still witty enough, still sharp in his mind to where he's handling them like he used to when he was a kid. He got him in, he checkmating them every time. But when you move like Dame Dash, you got to beware what's in your water. You got to beware what's in your food. You got to beware where your medicine coming from. You got to beware at all times because you think, listen, you think Muhammad Ali got Parkinson's disease out of nowhere. Nobody else in his family got it. His mama, his daddy, his wife, his kids, ain't nobody else walking around and can't talk. But because he was talking so crazy, yeah. So you got to salute a Dame Dash. Well, at least I do. And then Dame Dash is still so witty. He's still such a rebel. He's still such a king. Allegedly, he sold his share to some little homies that he brought up in the game. Told his little homies, look, man, y'all do what y'all want, but this is what we gonna do. I gotta get off these shares. I gotta sell this shit, so I'm gonna give it to y'all. I'm gonna give y'all the power. Because you gotta understand, anybody who owns the majority share in ROCAFELLA, the majority share in Reasonable Doubts, they basically own Jay-Z, homie. He'd give his right arm for that share. He'd give $1 billion for the rest of Reasonable Doubt. He'd pay it. And we gonna give it to MASE, and we gonna give it to Cam. These niggas, yo, genius, man. Genius. Again, I'ma leave y'all with that. You ain't hearing nobody. You ain't heard nobody call Dame that's genius level mentality right there, nigga. This is chess, not checkers, and we gonna checkmate you every time, homie. Every time. Him selling his shares and his rights and what he owns a reasonable doubt, and Rockefeller, the Cam and Mace, that was a checkmate, right? Listen, he got Jay-Z in check. I ain't gonna say checkmate. He got him in check, nigga. The king has been surrounded. Jay might got one move left. And yeah, you better make your next move be your best move, homie. Because anything other than your best move, it will lead to you being checkmated out of that. You might own everything, but you don't own that. And it's some Harlem dudes they own Jay. That's gangster, that's fire, that's genius level mentality. Big salute to Dame Dash, homie. Big salute to Dame Dash for standing on business. Because right now, I'm telling you, with the wrong people around Dame Dash, he'd have Parkinson's disease. Or we'd hear about Dame Dash being on drugs and overdosing in the bathtub like Whitney Houston. Listen, man. Big salute to the homie Aloe that's in the chat. I seen you in the chat. You know, made me feel good to see the homie Low. You know, niggas came a long way, Aloe. We came a long way. I was just talking to JoJo. You know, you was around when she was a baby. You was around when you know all about the gun charges. You know all about the back and forth to New York City. You know why I talk that talk the way I talk when it come to New York City, because I'm ingrained in the fabric of East New York when it come to Brooklyn. Everybody can go to the projects, get in the projects, walk up and down, yeah, without getting robbed. They used to call me the gunman when I was moving through there. Epic. Epic, man. I'm spiritual. I'm not. I don't go. I don't. You know. I don't really move with the whole Christianity thing and nothing that. I'm more spiritual. I'm connected to the cosmos. This melanin. You know, they find this melanin in shooting stars and comets. You know what I'm saying? This melanin right here. So I'm connected to the cosmos. I'm more spiritual. I'm more spiritual, homie. I really believe that religion is a trap. Religion is a way to control spirituality. Religion, the word religion, these different titles for these different religions, it's another way to put you in a box. It's another way to put you and close you off and put a seal in. There is no ceiling to this shit. I can go as far as the cosmos, as vast as the cosmos are. I can go as far with the spirit, being spiritual. You know, with religion, it's a box. It's a ceiling. And I'm like Lil Wayne, man. There is no ceilings on me. There is no ceiling to this. Hey, look, hey, look. I guarantee you, I'm leaving tomorrow morning. Everybody know I cross state lines at all times. So I leave out tomorrow morning. I'm gonna be in the truck. Who knows, man, a couple of weeks. For sure, getting back to this bag, getting to this money. But I guarantee you, the next time I go live, I'm gonna set this up to where, hey, Lo, I'm gonna bring you on the live, homie. I'm gonna hit you on YouTube. We'll figure it out on Instagram or however. I'll let you know. You go live. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, and I'm gonna bring you up, man, and we gonna conversate. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all would love the homie Aloe. My homie Aloe, y'all will love him. Y'all will love him. And Lo, I ain't gonna lie, homie. I would suggest you start a YouTube channel, man. Start a YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? I'm already almost 18,000 subscribers in. You start a YouTube channel. I'm a promote. I'm a send subscribers your way so you can get monetized and you can get a check, homie. Cause just like me, Low is very articulate. Low is yeah, he's a special breed, homie. And the stories that you got, Aloe, the stories that you got, the game that you got, the people will love that shit. And I'ma stamp that right here on Grown Man Business TV. I stamp that. Yeah, it is what it is, man. I mean, me and Lo used to have crazy dialogue in the crib. Um, you know, I could go on a whole nother 2 hours just talking about, my homie Lo and the homies that I got out there in East New York, Brooklyn. Uh, uh, that's a whole nother live stream, man. But your Lo, I'm telling you, man, I would suggest, because I see that you in the live chat, so you have a channel. All you got to do is now name your channel, start posting videos. You can't go live yet because you don't have enough subscribers, but you can post, record videos, and you can start playing around with this shit. I would suggest you do that. It's a bag. You can make some money. You definitely make some money, and you can grow your channel. You could promote your music. It's way deeper than Instagram, homie. It's way deeper over here on YouTube. It's way deeper. The only thing rocking that I would say can compare to YouTube, that's rocking with YouTube, it might be TikTok, because you can get a check on TikTok as well. But YouTube is different. And the realness you're gonna bring to it, it's gonna take you a long way. So I would suggest you do that. Yeah, man. I'm gonna bring the homie Low up though, so the audience and so the people in the chat and so the subscribers could get a whiff. They can get a they can put an eye on you, and we gonna chop game, because Aloe knows. I done did stories. I done told y'all stories about being in New York and gun charges and how I used to move, how I used to, give it up. But a lot of the times when you talk like that on this app, man, a lot of people, it don't really matter what they think, but it just sounds like it's some of this shit don't sound real almost. Because we got these phones, we got this technology, now we got access to all this information and all of these different opinions and all of these different people that you get to telling certain stories. I get to talking a certain way, and people be like, "Damn, they don't believe it." Niggas like, yo, this thing is crazy. You know, think of it. But I'm dead serious, because it was a time and a place where smartphones didn't exist, homie. Smartphones didn't exist, and I grew up in that time, and I thrived in that era. When you had to actually go outside. You couldn't sit behind a cell phone and make a name for yourself. You had to jump off the porch. You had to put your hands on it. I came up in that era. You had to touch it, homie. You had to be hands on for people to know who you was, for people to respect you as a man, for grown man business. We didn't, that's what built the character. That's what make grown man business what it is. That's what a lot of y'all lack. Y'all always, y'all was born in 2010. Y'all was born in 2005. Y'all don't know, y'all don't even know what it means not to have a smartphone. So I get to telling these stories, and niggas be like, yo, so I'm definitely gonna bring you up, Los. My homie Aloe is yeah. He's definitely a real one. New York, New York. Hey Lo, you know who Zip with the Drip is, Lo? I know you gotta know. You got to know who Zip with the Drip is, because you in New York. Before I close this out, Lo, you know who Zip with the Drip is? Tell me you know who Zip with the Drip is, man. Tell me you know. Lo, do you know who Zippy with the Drippy is? Tell me in the chat if you know who he is. Cause my homie Lo in New York. Now I get to telling y'all this, that, and the third. And we get to talk about New York City and what you know about why you speaking on New York and XYZ. This one of the reasons why I could speak on New York. This one of the reasons. Yeah. Oh, look, my homie in New York. Look, now, Zip. Lil Zippy with the drip, you might not have that much motion, because my homie right here is in New York City, Brooklyn, New York, and he say he ain't never heard of you. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. So yeah, man, to wrap this thing up, man, The whole situation with Jay-Z and Dame is the main reason why black men are looked at the way they are looked at, and one of the main reasons on the highest level, because they was doing business, they was playing chess on the highest level. And even on that level, you know, one of them people, because I don't even want to say white, could have been a low hat, whatever. One of them people was able to slide in, walk, get behind Dame back, offer a check, cause confusion, cause commotion, smoke and mirrors, and break down a dynasty, a black dynasty. They was able to crumble it. They was able to tear it apart. They was able to cause fighting and bickering and confusion and war amongst black men, all because they knew what they was capable of. They knew what the next level was. These dudes had built a record label. They had Rockefeller of Rockaware. They had clothes. They were selling alcohol. And the next thing they was gonna do was distribution, homie. I'm gonna leave y'all with that. The next level for Rockefeller Records was distribution. They were going to start distributing their own music. They were going to start packaging and selling their own music. They were going to cut out the middleman. Because that was coming next. The next move was Dame Dash saying, we don't need y'all. We can do all this shit ourselves. We done made enough money. We can do this shit ourselves. We got Rockaware distribution. Rockefeller distribution. That was coming next, right? Listen, man, it is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Yeah, they had pulled Aaliyah in. They had pulled in Aaliyah. It was a lot of things behind the scenes that they was doing. It was a lot of things under the radar that even back then we couldn't, we couldn't see it. You know what I'm saying? We didn't understand it. But they did, because they had reached a certain level in the game. They was rubbing shoulders with other black men that had reached a certain level in the game. I've heard about a meeting that Jay-Z and Dame Dash had with Suge Knight, that Jay Prince, I think it was Jay Prince, Dr. Dre, a few other people, and they was gonna start an all-black distribution company. Why haven't these rich black men in the music industry started a distribution company? Because they got rid of all the rebels. They got rid of all the black men that are trying to cut the middleman out and make it black owned. They got rid of all of them, and they empowered the Jay-Z's. Yeah, yeah. That's what make grown man business dangerous. Because I say shit like that. Yeah. I might just be the Dame Dash of YouTube, homie. I might just be the Dame Dash of YouTube in the flesh. Cause I'm the one that's looking past the smoke and mirrors. I'm the one that they scared of. Cause I don't need YouTube. You see, I was just in the big, you already see, I was just in the hot tub. And then I'm gonna get up tomorrow morning and I'm gonna go get that bag. We crossing state lines at all times. I don't need YouTube. I come to YouTube to drop the game. And the game for tonight is Jay-Z dropped the ball. Jay-Z wanted to be a businessman so bad that, yeah, we look at you as a businessman, but we look at you as a puppet at the same time. You a businessman for the white man. You a puppet for the white man. And as long as you are a businessman and a puppet for the white man, you can run off into the sunset with your family. But as soon as you ever play ball, as soon as you ever show a inkling of a rebel, your ass going to jail. Yeah, they gonna do your ass just like they did Puffy. Yeah, Jay-Z, you think you above what they did to Puffy? They said you was hitting Foxy Brown. She was 15. They said you was doing. Come on, man. Come on, man. It's a lot of stories about Jay-Z that they wipe under the rug because Jay-Z is a puppet. What about his first son, the dude in Maryland that looked just like him? The young lady that she was like 15 when she had Come on, man. It's a lot of these stories about Jay-Z, homie. Why you think they don't ever talk about his first son? Because the mama was 15, 16 when she had the damn baby. Foxy Brown, they said he was knocking the boots. And Foxy Brown had was 15, 16 years old. It's a lot of these stories about Jay-Z. So if your ass ever you ever think to buck up one time, Jay-Z, your ass going down like Puffy. So listen, man, you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business TV. You feel what I'm saying? You can tap in, you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest. And I suggest you tap in. Look, I suggest you tap into this grown man business. I suggest you tap into this grown man content at all times. You already know what it is. Straight off the brick into the bottles. Listen, man, we cut it straight off the bricks into the bottles. I'm talking raw, pure, uncut, no extras, no preservatives. We not sugarcoat nothing, and we not dressing nothing up. Jay-Z giving it to you straight raw, my G, and you drop the ball, and we all see the fraud that you are. We all see what you did to Dame, homie. We all see what you did to Dame Dash, and we don't respect it. We never did. Word to Tupac. He called you out. Tupac, yo, Tupac said this shit a long time ago, and we wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. It didn't take long. It didn't take long. Even Beans, you know, state property. All it did was a dynasty. This shit was a dynasty. We've never seen it happen again. And it will never happen. It's like Big Meech. This type of shit will never happen again, homie. It'd be 100 years. Because after they broke up that dynasty, they figured out we can never let that happen again. We can never let these black men they got close. Ooh, if Jay-Z didn't bite the cheese, we would have to go to war. There would have been a war. Because distribution is where the money at. You don't know no black-owned distribution companies. Where's all the black record labels? They got rid of all that shit. Irv Gotti, Rockefeller, Rough Riders, all of them. They got rid of all of them. We can't let y'all even get close. Just, y'all sell Def Jam. We're going to get rid of Russell Simmons. I mean, I could go down the list, homie. Suge Knight, Death Row, everybody's out of here. We getting rid of everybody. Listen, man. So you already know it's your boy, Grown Man Business TV. Feel what I'm saying? You can tap in, you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest. And I suggest you tap in. Gang.